So at work, I couldn't stop itching, my balls and that area.
Mm-hmm. Your crotch.
My crotch. And I was worried I was going to be accused of maybe sexual harassment in the workplace.
Because you're constantly touching your crotch.
Yeah, just grabbing it and scratching it and shifting, moving in my chair.
Digital, super funny show. Come on, freaking weirdos.
Come on, freaks and
Let's
weirdos.
have fun. Digital, 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 digital.
Hello, Ben, you old dog, you.
Well, hello, Abe. How's it going?
Not great, Ben.
Why? What's happened?
You know what happened.
Tell me.
You know exactly what happened, Ben. You say what happened.
There was a small technical problem.
A big technical problem.
Yeah, on my end, not your
On
end.
Ben's side, not my side.
Yes, I admit my mistake, and I accept full responsibility for not recording our podcast properly
Last night.
last night.
Last night we started recording just before 10 p.m.
It was a late night session.
It was a late night session. Maybe it was too late.
Maybe it was, we recorded the podcast and the file was broken. The audio file.
Yeah.
That's what
right.
happened. That's what happened. I dropped the ball, Abe.
That's okay, Ben. I've been podcasting for many years with Yoshi.
Yes.
We've both made big mistakes like that.
It's happened to you many times.
Not many, but it happens once in a while.
Once in a blue moon.
We record an episode and then one of us has to come to the other one with our tail between our legs
Yes.
and say, "Oh, sorry, but I kind of ruined the file."
Don't hit me, master.
When you come to someone with your tail between your legs, it means you feel very guilty and embarrassed.
Like a guilty dog that's done something wrong.
Yes.
You bad, bad dog.
So this morning, your tail was between your legs.
Yes, it was. Hanging
Bad
down
dog.
between my legs.
Bad dog.
Bad dog. Yes. Well, I shouldn't say bad dog because my dog is next to me at the moment.
Oh, you don't want him to misunderstand.
When I said bad dog, his ears pricked up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Me?
Not me. No, you're a good boy.
Cats don't care.
Oh,
I call them bad cats all the time.
bad
Usually
cats.
in an Indian voice. You're very bad cat.
You're the baddest cats I've ever seen.
No, you're a very bad cat.
The baddest of the bad.
Bad. And they don't care at all.
No, maybe they don't respond to Indian accents. Maybe you should try a different accent. Like a Scottish. You dirty bad cats, you.
Scottish accent?
You filthy wee cats.
Ah, the cats are filthy.
You make me sick.
These are some bad cats. Now I prefer Indian. You're very bad cat.
It's nicer. It's softer.
Scottish is quite a kind of hard-sounding accent,
Yeah,
isn't it?
It is. Because, Scottish people, they're fighters. They're warriors.
They're from the cold north part of Great Britain.
Yes. Like one side of my family.
Are you half Scottish?
Yes. Pretty much.
I have Scottish blood as well.
Ooh, we both got fiery Scottish blood.
Yes, my ancestors, some of them were from Scotland. I have Scottish blood.
Maybe our ancestors fought together on the battlefield.
Maybe they fought each other.
Or maybe...
The Lawsons and the Tracys.
Die, you dirty Lawson bastards!
Die, Tracy, you bastard. Yeah. Anyway, Ben, do you remember what we talked about last night?
Yeah, we talked about a variety of topics, as usual. One topic, I believe, was maybe feeling embarrassed.
Yes, we talked about how compliments can make us feel embarrassed.
Yeah, it's difficult to, hear nice things about yourself.
You don't know how to respond when someone gives you a very nice compliment. It's like your natural reaction is to say, no, that's not true. Like, even though, maybe you're actually kind of happy to get a compliment, it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Luckily, I don't get too many compliments, so it's very kind of listeners to say these nice things.
Now, this is quite a coincidence because I talked to the person who gave you a very nice gift a while ago.
One of our international listeners?
Yes, just this morning. She took my lesson.
Ah, okay. Nice.
And she was kind of confused because you said, this is so embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah, I can't take this.
Yeah. And she thought like, I didn't mean to make him feel bad or embarrassed.
Maybe she didn't understand that's normal to say in English. That's the polite response.
Yeah, when someone gives you a very nice gift.
You say, no. I can't take
I can't
this.
accept this. This is too nice.
Too much.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed. It is expressing how nice the gift is.
That's right. It's almost like the more you protest, the more you're understanding or recognizing how kind the person is.
Yes, and how lovely the gift is.
Yes.
So it's very normal to say, I can't accept this. This is too much.
It's normal, yes.
God, I have nothing to give back to you. I'm so embarrassed.
Don't worry, dear listener, it didn't make me feel bad. It made me feel wonderful.
It's a way to be humble and to express how lovely a gift is.
Yes. It's polite.
Yeah.
And it was a lovely gift, although it did cause some fights in my house.
Your kids were fighting over the treats?
Yes, over the dried fruit. My kids went wild. They turned into like savage animals, chimpanzees.
Really?
Yeah. And I tried to divide
I want the mango.
equal pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they can see if their brother has a slightly bigger piece, even just a few millimeters bigger. It's enough to start an argument. His one's bigger. His one's shinier. He's looking at my one. That's my favorite. Don't look at my one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
Yeah, that happens. Don't look at my food.
God, kids are so silly.
He's allowed to look wherever he wants.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
You said, that's okay. He's allowed to look at it.
Yeah. You can't control where somebody's looking.
I remember with my brothers, we would annoy each other by doing things like that, or even putting a finger very close to the other one's face and say,
okay.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
But I'm very close.
Dad, Jamie's bothering me. I'm not touching him, though. I'm not touching him.
Yep. Yes, it is endless. Endless.
Yeah, well, 3 boys very close in age, so I'm sure it doesn't take much to start World War III in
No,
your
it
house.
doesn't. It doesn't.
Kaboom.
Kaboom! It's like an explosion. An explosion of little boys. Anyway, many thanks for the gifts, and it's polite to show humility, to be humble.
Ben wasn't embarrassed.
No, I wasn't embarrassed.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Oh.
I was a little embarrassed this morning I was riding my bicycle home, and there was a pigeon on the footpath.
You saw a pigeon on the path.
I didn't want to hit the pigeon, so I tried to avoid the pigeon. I swerved.
You swerved on your bicycle.
Yep. Just a little out of the way. And the stupid pigeon, sort of followed my direction. So we both went the same way.
The pigeon swerved into you. You swerved into each other.
Yes. And
Poor pigeon.
it kind of got stuck under my leg. And I was trying to shake my leg and get this pigeon off me. And it was touching me. It was quite heavy. It was a horrible experience.
How did it get stuck?
So it flew up under my leg, between my bike and my leg.
Okay, but you're pedaling, so your leg's moving.
Yeah, but I stopped pedaling as I felt it touch my leg, and I started shaking my leg. But it stayed sort of between my leg and up near the bicycle seat for about 3 seconds, flapping around.
That must feel very...
I felt attacked. I felt violated.
Did you feel scared?
Yes, I felt scared. And I'm scared of maybe getting some kind of weird bird virus or some parasites, some insects that want to suck my blood.
People say that pigeons are like flying rats.
Yeah.
Very dirty, and they have lots of bacteria and parasites. A parasite is usually an insect or a bug
Yep.
that lives on an animal,
Yeah, that's right.
and they can spread. Like, for example, fleas.
Fleas, yeah.
Dogs and cats often get fleas. Those are parasites.
Sometimes they can live, down around your genitals. Pubic lice.
Maybe your genitals.
Not anymore.
Did you used to have pubic lice?
Well, I had. I think I've told this. I think I've told this story before. I had bird mites.
A parasite that lives on birds?
Yes. So
How did you get it?
Well, me and my wife were living in an apartment in Australia, and we started noticing tiny, tiny little insects around the house.
Oh, I remember this story.
I've told this story, I think.
You've told it on the podcast before, and there was like a dead bird in the ventilation system of your house or something?
Yes, that's right. A dead pigeon.
And those little insects spread all over you and all your stuff.
We had to move.
You had to move to a different house.
Yes. It was that bad. We couldn't wait.
Oh my.
And those little insects really enjoyed, I guess, being close to my penis.
Oh, really? You didn't tell us this.
Well, this is more personal. I think I think the listeners know me well enough now, after all these episodes, to talk about this finally.
So these parasites tended to gather around your
They would gather. They would meet.
private area.
Especially at night, they would have a kind of a pubic party.
In the pubic forest.
In the pubic forest, yeah. There was little laser lights. I could hear a little DJ. Horrible. And just itching.
Did you have to shave your pubic hair?
Yes. Yep, absolutely. I shaved all around there. It was covered in bites. And I had to go to work. So at work, I couldn't stop itching, my balls and that area.
Your crotch.
my crotch, and I was worried I was going to be accused of maybe sexual harassment in the workplace.
Because you're constantly touching your crotch.
Yeah, just grabbing it and scratching it and shifting, moving in my chair. It was fucking horrible. I told everybody. Everybody knew.
You're like, sorry guys, I got
Yeah.
bird mites on my balls.
Literally.
God.
So I
You
hate...
didn't tell us that part.
Yeah, well, that was... the whole thing was terrible. I can't say that was the worst.
So anyway, there's this bird and it's sitting kind of around your leg and it's making you very nervous because of this experience you have.
Yeah, so I tried to kick off this bird on the street and it was touching my clothes and everything. And I was immediately remembering the bird mites, the parasites.
Yeah.
And anyway, I kicked it away. This happened outside a big hospital.
Okay, yeah, the Tohoku University Hospital.
Yes. And there was a group of nurses, I guess. And they were all laughing and giggling. And they were laughing at me.
Yeah, it must look pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. It must have been funny for them. But for me, it was a horrible experience.
And hopefully it didn't give you any parasites.
No, well, I took off my clothes when I came home. I stripped down naked and I put them all in the washing machine.
Oh, wow, really? You're that paranoid?
I'm not taking any chances with these pigeon parasites.
No more parasites for Ben.
Enough is enough.
How did you eventually get rid of these parasites that were, partying on your balls?
Well, we moved out of the apartment and they came in and bombed the place with pesticide, with insect poison. And then we moved into the new place. We had to put all of our clothes and really everything in plastic bags and leave them in the sun. So that was the advice. Just seal them in plastic bags and leave them in the sun. Big bags of our clothes and blankets and everything.
Ah, so the heat will kill them.
Yeah, it kills them after a good day roasting in the sun. And then your clothes are covered in dead little parasites. So you have to wash them. Yeah.
God.
Try and get on with life.
Speaking of getting on with life, we have got some questions.
Oh, excellent.
If you've got a question, anything's okay.
Anything's okay.
If you've got a question,
Who should you ask? Who should you ask?
just ask Annyyyway.
That's right.
Goddamn.
Because Ben and Abe will answer your questions. If you have a question, come to Twitter, come to Instagram, or come to 55freebird.com
Yeah.
and send us your questions.
Don't be shy. We need your questions.
So, Ben, what is today's question from Instagram, right?
That's correct. From one of our listeners in the northern part of the world, the largest country in the world.
Which is, of course, Russia.
Mother Russia.
So what is the question from Russia?
So this listener asks us to recommend a good book for somebody who's becoming, more advanced in English.
Okay, so he's an advanced English learner,
Yeah.
and he wants to read a book in English.
He's ready. He's ready to read a book in English.
I haven't read a book for a long time.
Yeah,
and
well-
that's embarrassing. I mean, I know I should. Reading books is very good for your brain and language and your vocabulary.
Yeah. Focus, attention span.
It's very good for you, but I just don't do it these days.
Well, I think, since the advent of smartphones, since smartphones became popular, many more people have switched to, getting their entertainment online.
Yeah, it's hard to focus on a book when you have endless content and entertainment on a screen right
Yep.
next to the book.
And now it's just more next video, next photo, next article. Always changing, a river of entertainment.
Yeah, gosh. What book would you recommend, Ben?
Well, I'll talk about my favorite book, and I hope this book is not too difficult for this level. So the book is called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Okay. Zen, meaning like the Buddhist kind of meditation thing, Zen.
Yes.
And the art of motorcycle... What's the
Maintenance.
connection between motorcycles and Zen?
Well, the writer talks about sort of fixing his motorbike and working on his motorbike. And, it can be challenging. And sometimes there's a problem with the engine and you have to try and find the problem. And he talks about focusing completely on the task that he's doing and trying to do a quality job, slowing down and doing it carefully and focusing 100%. And he says when he does that, he's entering a kind of like a meditation state,
Interesting.
right? Very calm, very focused and single-minded.
Whether it's breathing or whether it's something else, if you just focus on one thing, perhaps you get some sort of Zen feeling.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
It sounds very bizarre.
It's weird.
Zen and motorcycle maintenance?
Yes. And it's also a nice story of a father and son traveling together.
Okay, so it's a novel, like it's an actual
It's a novel.
story.
It's a novel. It's about mental health. It's about many things. So I highly recommend it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I've heard from quite a few different English learners that the Harry Potter books,
Yeah, a lot of English learners enjoy the Harry Potter books.
yeah, I think it's because they're written for kids, so they're fairly easy to understand.
Right. Yeah, they're sort of for kids and young adults, teenagers,
Right.
But for anybody, really. I mean, many adults enjoy the Harry Potter universe.
Yeah, and another thing is, and one of my students is doing this, she's reading a book in English that she already knows the story. Like she's read
okay.
that book before in Japanese.
Well, that helps.
Probably easier to read it.
Yes.
Although maybe it's boring to read a book again in a different language. I don't know. It depends on the person.
It depends on the person. Absolutely.
So that's the one that seems to be very common with English learners is the Harry Potter series.
Yes. The last book I read was Fox in Socks.
For your son?
For my son.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I recommend. Dr. Zeus. They're kids' books, but they're good for practicing pronunciation, speed, and, some tongue twisters.
Maybe that's more for kids, though. All right, let's wrap it up, Benny boy.
All right, goodbye, guys. Come to Instagram, please. Messages, questions, comments, anything.
Our number one request is to please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star review and write a review, please. Thanks for the question from Russia. We hope things calm down over there in your part of the world and this conflict happening in Ukraine ends and everyone can go home and stop fighting.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Yes.
Oh, miss a waiting a long, long time. 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 How long me have to wait now? 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 How long me